Uh, okay, thank you everyone for joining the session. And this is the session two. Actually, in the session one, I have given a lot of insight on Power BI course and Advanced Excel. So it is very appreciable that we got a tremendous response, and more than 110 Google forms have been filled by the different candidates, and the most of them, the most of the queries which came to us, so they want more insights on the Power BI. So we thought like extending the session and to conduct one more session on the Power BI, so that the candidate who are very new to this particular course can get some idea on that. Okay, so let me share my screen. See, actually, in the yesterday's the previous demo, we discussed about the entire Power BI architecture. Okay, so if anybody has missed that particular class, so this is the only single slide in the last 1 hour what we have discussed about background of Power BI. So this is the only single slide that it can speak about, then where you can understand the entire Power BI architecture. Okay. So, for a person who is from a non-tech, first of all, I want to make it clear that the most of the query came to us, sir, I am from a non-technical background. I don't have a zero knowledge. I don't have knowledge on coding. Whether I can shift my career to Power BI. So this was a major question or major query most of the student raised to us. So answer to this, my question is, a person who is having zero knowledge on coding and a person from the non-technical background can learn Power BI. Okay, first remove the fear that you are from a non-technical background or if you from a science background. So it doesn't matter. Like if you follow the course curriculum with heart, like if you complete the course of 3 months course with 100% dedication, then a person from the non-technical background can also learn the Power BI. And second part is, once you learn about any particular course, most of the people are saying, are there any job opportunities which are available in the market once we learn the Power BI? So the answer to this question is, now when it comes to reporting tool or this Power BI, we call it, as I already said, this is called as visualization tool. So what is meant by visualization tool? That means any client will come, it may be a client, it is from pharma background or non-pharma background. They will store the data in some data sources. So simple example I have stored, right? So any organization, whether it may be pharma, whether it may be non-pharma organization, they store the data in the data sources. So the place where the organization store their business information, we call it as data source. So I already said if the data size is very less, the organizations will prefer to store that particular data in the Excel files. But think a organization which is having a huge amount of the data, so Excel cannot store the data. There is a size limit, data limit, right? So you cannot store some lakhs of data in the Excel, which contains lakhs of rows. So if the organization is vast and the data load is very high, suppose you can take like a Flipkart or Amazon, where the millions of transactions will take place in a day. So in that particular case, they will not store the data in the Excel file. They will store the data in some databases. So what are some data? SQL Server, it may be database, Oracle database. So if the organizations, if the data size is high, the organization store the data in the databases. It may be SQL Server, it may be Oracle, it may be Azure, depending upon, it may be Snowflake. Depending upon their requirement, they will store the data in the database. Now, as a Power BI developer, what you will do, once you get any project as a Power BI developer, the client will share the data to you. So now what you will do as a Power BI developer, you will install the Power BI desktop. See this Power BI desktop, I will show a live example how you can create the visuals in this particular session. At least I will try to show because previous we have discussed in the previous class, we discussed about theoretical concept. Now in the today's class, I will show how the Power BI desktop will look. So how the interface of the Power BI will be looking, so that you can get some confidence how you can build the visuals by using the Power BI desktop. So in the first case, any business, any organization, they will store the data in the data source, like databases, that means data source. If the organizations are small, they store in Excel, or if the organizations are the large, they will store in some databases. Now, as a Power BI developer, what you will do, you will connect to the data which is provided by the client. Okay, you will connect the data. First, you will install a tool called as Power BI Desktop, which is a free tool, and I will explain you how to install the Power BI Desktop. And in the Power BI Desktop, the entire course of the Power BI will depend upon these three components. So in the first 10 hours of the classes, we will be discussing about Power Query. Power Query means with the help of this, we have many menu based options. What are the menu based options? Like when you look at the Excel, you have some different menu based options, right? From that, you can transform your data. So in the Power BI also, there is an ETL software with called as Power Query. With this, you can able to transform your data. The reason being, the organization which is provide the data may not be in a structured format, but with the help of the Power Query, we will convert this unstructured data into structured data, and you can make some necessary transformations by using the Power Query. So with the help of this Power Query, you will extract, that means you will connect to the databases. You will transform the data, and then you will load the data. E means extraction. The process of connecting to the data, we call it as extraction. And if the data is not organized well, T stands for transform. You will transform that particular data. And after that, L means L stands for load. You will load that particular data into Power BI Desktop. So with this Power Query, we call it as Power Query is a ETL software which is there in the Power BI Desktop. Okay, we have hundreds of menu-based options which are there in Power Query. Just by using that option, you can transform the data. But previously, what happens? You will not write any code. Just you will play with the menu-based options. But the every menu based options you are used in the Power Query, you are using in the Power Query backend, the Power BI itself writes some code for it. That code we call it as M language or mashup language. Okay, for the backend it will be writing a code for you. Okay, this is called as Power Query. In the next, we will be discussing about the Power Pivot. What is meant by Power Pivot? See, when you look at the Power Pivot, see organizations like if it is a database, SQL Server or Oracle database, where the organizations are storing their business data, right? How they will store the data? That is the very important part. Majority of the organizations will store the data in the form of tables. In the form of tables. So by using the Power Pivot, okay, where by using the Power Query, we'll try to load the data, right? Suppose you have loaded some in the SQL Server, in some X organization is there. It has stored the data in some 100 tables. So you have loaded that 100 tables into this Power BI desktop. In the Power Pivot, what happens? As the data is stored in the form of different tables, you need to establish the relationship between these tables, because every organization storing the different tables. Like we have table A, we have table B. I want to create a visual from the table A and table B, where I'm using some columns from table A, I'm using some columns from table B. So I need the data which is present in table A and table B. So with the help of the data which is present in the both the tables, I want to create a visual from it. So in that case, what happens if you want to create a visual from the two different tables? First, you need to establish the relationship between the tables. And suppose you are loading some 10 tables into it. So you need to create a data model. You need to create some relationship between the tables. So building the relationship between the tables, creating the data model, that you will be studying in Power Pivot. Okay. So how you will build the data model, how you will create the relationship, that we will be studying once we enter into Power Pivot. In the Power Pivot, what we will study how to establish the relationship between the tables, how to create a data model between the tables, that you will be discussing in the data analysis part, we will be discussing in the Power Pivot. So at least, and apart from that, in the Power Pivot, we will be discussing about the how to write the DAX queries. Now suppose it will take Power Query to how to make the transformation, it will take some 10 hours. Power Pivot also, it will be taking some 10 hours. Next, coming to Power View. Okay, Power View. So in the Power View, when you look at the Power BI desktop, I will show you how the Power Query and Power View will look. The interface of the Power View will look. I will show you how to install the Power BI desktop as well. But what is meant by Power View? Power View means in this Power View, you have some hundreds of the visuals will be there. With the help of the data that we have loaded from the client, suppose the client has provided the data, by using that particular data, and by using the visuals which are there in the Power BI desktop, you will try to create some visuals in the Power BI desktop. So with the help of the data which is provided by the client, based upon the client requirement, you will try to create the visuals. So the visualization part you will be discussing in the Power View. Okay. So in the Power BI desktop, once you install the Power BI desktop, first we'll study how to make the transformations. That is called as Power Query. Every organization will store the data in the form of the tables, and how to create the relationship between the tables, how to establish the relationship between that particular tables, that you will be studying in Power Pivot. And now the third Power View, in the Power BI desktop itself, we have some many visuals based upon, you have pie chart, donut chart, that I will show you. With the help of the data and with the help of these visuals, you will try to create the visuals and group of the visuals club together, and you will develop some reports, and that you will we call it as Power View. So entire this Power Query, Power Pivot, and Power View will be this three. We call this the three comes under the Power BI desktop, where the development of your report takes place. That's why they are calling Power BI desktop as developmental software. Okay. So you have connect to the data, you have made the transformation, you have built the relationships, you have created the report. So your report is ready in the Power BI desktop. What is the next step? You want to store, you have developed, client has given the data, you have developed the report. What is the next step? You need to share the report to the client. Okay. In the Power BI desktop, in the Power BI, we will publish your report which you have developed in the local system in the by using the Power BI desktop. You will depend upon one a cloud based software to publish your report. That cloud based software, we call it as Power BI service. So the place where a cloud based platform where you will publish your report, which is developed in the Power BI desktop, this cloud based software, we call it as Power BI service. So in the next 5 or 6 classes or 10 classes, we will be discussing about Power BI service. In this Power BI service, how you can create some workspaces, how you give permission to your client to report for the report, how to share the report, how to refresh your report, how to schedule refresh, those type of many types of the concept we will be discussing in the Power BI service. So you have developed the report, you are published the report in Power BI service, and once it is published the report, what you will do? Then you will give the access permission to your client, and you will share the report to the client. And the client will use the report which you are published in this Power BI service, and he will take some business decision. So this is the only the entire Power BI architecture. It is speaking right from who is providing the data to you. It is the client who is providing the data to you. And once you get the job, you will get a job as Power BI developer. What you are doing as a Power BI developer, you are connecting to the data which is provided by the client. From that data, you are creating some visuals and report, and you are publishing in some workspace. You are publishing in some cloud-based services called as Power BI service. From that, you are sharing the report to the client, and the client will access the report from the Power BI service. It is just like the data is provided by the client, and the report you are with the help of the data which is provided by the client. From that data only, you are creating the visuals and you are sharing again to the client. That means you are looking at the watch of your client and saying what is the time. But what is the reason difference here? If the data is stored in some tables or Excel, if it is very hard for a client to analyze his business, because now we will connect to the data. From the data, you will try to create, you will represent the data in the form of visuals. When the data is simply stored in the form of tabular format, or you will store that in some pie chart or bar chart or some advanced visuals in the Power BI desktop, so the interpretation of the data becomes very easy. That's why the Power BI, we call it as, they are calling it as a visualization tool. That means the data, you will connect to the data, you will provide the data in the form of visuals, and that visuals you club together and you will prepare a report, build a report, and you will share to the client. So this is called as entire Power BI. If somebody asks, you need to understand, you need to explain, you should be in a position to explain this particular thing. So if a person asks about what is Power BI, and next and most of the thing, like I can in the previous when I have connected, like I told, like Power BI desktop, we have discussed about so much theoretical things of Power BI desktop. But now I want to show you generally how this interface will look, okay, and how you can download the Power BI desktop. So that is the very important thing, right? How we can install, or how you can connect to the uh, like how you install the Power BI desktop. Okay. So now when you look at there are two ways, actually there are the two ways where you can install the Power BI desktop into your system. Okay. So there are the two ways. So my voice is audible to everyone? Like, can anyone please confirm? Is my voice is audible? Hello? Can anyone please confirm, is my voice is audible? Hello? Is my voice is audible? Okay, thank you. Right. Yeah, thanks. Right. Now, I will explain you how to install the Power BI desktop into your system. Okay. Actually, there are the two ways where you can install the Power BI desktop. So the first thing is, if go to the search button, if a Microsoft Store system is present in your system, type in the search Microsoft Store. Keep 1 second. Yeah. Yeah, if Microsoft Store system is present in your system, just in the search button, type as Microsoft Store. Okay, right. Once you type the Microsoft Store, you will get a search button over here. In this, just type as Power BI Desktop. Okay. Click on this Power BI Desktop. See, once you click on the Power BI Desktop, there will be an option called as open. For me, it is appearing as an open. What is the reason behind why it is appearing it as open? Reason being, already Power BI desktop I have installed in my system. That's why I am getting the option as open. But if your Power BI desktop is not there, then it will ask you for download. It will show you the option called as download. Okay. So already my Power BI desktop is installed in your system. That's why for me it will getting as open. But if it is not installed in your system, instead here you will get an option as download. Okay. Just you can type, you can open the Power BI desktop and you can click on here download option will be getting. And if you click on that download, the Power BI desktop will be installed in your system. That is the first thing where you can install the Power BI desktop. This only for a person if you have the Microsoft Store. Just click as Microsoft Store. Okay. Then you click on Power BI desktop. Here, instead here you will get the download option. For me getting already retry, and because already I have installed the Power BI desktop in the system. That is the reason. Now, what is the second way where you can you can install the Power BI desktop into the system? There is also a second way. Okay, through Google you can install the Power BI desktop. So here just I will share this sheet over here. Okay, type it as Power BI desktop download. See Microsoft Power BI desktop. Then come over here, download Microsoft Power BI desktop from official. So just click on this here. Once you click over here, it will ask you thus to select the some language. See, select language. So by default, if a language is selected a different one, so you need to select the language as in English. Then after that, type to click on this download. See, it is trying to Microsoft Setup x64. It is download. This is like installing some app into your software in mobile. So once you open this, just you click on next and next until the Power BI desktop is downloaded. Then it will click on at the last. It will show you an option called as finish. So it means that the Power BI desktop is installed in your system. Okay. So it will take some time. So this is a process. Just you click on that open and click on next, and at the end it will show you an option called as finish. Then it means that Power BI desktop is installed in your system. Now, how you can confirm that your Power BI desktop is installed? Once after installation, just if you type it as Power BI, see the icon of Power BI desktop will appear in your search button like this. So if it is appear, that it is the indication that Power BI desktop is installed in your system. Okay, so this is the way. But you can ask a simple question to me, sir. You have explained us two things: how to install the Power BI desktop through Microsoft Store system, which is if you have Microsoft Store, and have explained how to install the Power BI desktop through Google. Okay, these are the two ways, right? So what is the difference that this is an interview question or this is a Microsoft certification question they will ask? What is the difference if you download the Power BI desktop through Google and if you download the Power BI desktop through Microsoft Store? The only difference is Microsoft Store is introducing some new features every month. The Microsoft Store is introducing some new features in the Power BI desktop. Okay. So if you download the Microsoft Store system through if you Power BI through this Microsoft Store system, those updates will automatically will be captured in your Power BI desktop. Suppose you are in the November, in the December, Microsoft will be adding some some innovations in that Power BI desktop too. So you no need to install in the December again. So those innovations are updates which are introduced in the Power BI desktop through Microsoft. So automatically those updates will be captured when you install the Power BI desktop through Microsoft Store. But if you download the Power BI desktop through this Google, what happens? At that point of time where you have downloaded your Power BI desktop, okay, it will record at that point only. So in the new future, like if the Power BI desktop, like in the December, if it Microsoft Store is introducing new features, so that may not be appeared in that particular tool. Okay, because if you suppose I have downloaded in the Google from November 23rd now. So whatever the updates which have appeared up to this November 23rd, those updates will be captured in that particular tool. Suppose it tomorrow or in the December, if new updates are introduced by Microsoft Store, so that may not be appear. Again, you need to in the December you need to install again through the Google. You to uninstall and reinstall it. So that's why my advice for everyone is try to download the tool through Microsoft Store system so that updates are automatically captured. And one more thing in the starting class, I have explained this is a tool which was introduced by the Microsoft Store. This Microsoft. Okay, Power BI is the product of Microsoft. Excel, Power BI, why it is why I'm saying see, I'm in the starting of the class. Excel, which was introduced in the long way 20, 30, 40 years, like your fathers has used that Microsoft Excel. So your grandfathers may have used that Excel, but still, why you are using the Excel? There is no clear-cut competitor for that. The only thing is the tool will get innovating every day. You can see different types of versions came into the Excel. Through this Excel, they will be adding some new features too. In order to cop up in the market, in order to stand in the market, they will try to add some new features to the tool. Okay, that's why a product which was introduced by the Microsoft, the R&D team will be perfect so that they will try to sustain in the market for the longer time. Same in the case of Power BI. We have Tableau in the market. Why the Power BI has got so much craze in the market? Because this tool is very easy, user friendly. A person who is having the basic common sense can able to learn the Power BI. Okay, and there is no tool in the market where within the span of 2 or 3 months, if you work well, that you can shift the career as a Power BI developer, like 4 or 5 plus experienced professional. There are some tools which are demand in the market, but it requires a lot of coding. Okay, with a person with a non-coding background can also shift their career into this Power BI. Reason being, this tool is designed very user friendly, very easy to understand. Okay, that is the only reason. And this tool is getting innovated every month. You can see, you can go to the YouTube, what are the advances which are happened in the November, October. Every month the Microsoft try to at least it will create some new visuals, some changes in this interface. So that's why the Power BI is being a market leader in the long term in the since the launch of 2017. Okay. Now, once I have explained how to install the Power BI, okay, we have discussed about that particular slide. What is now? Let us see about how you can load the data. See, I have theoretically explained a client is providing the data. We are connecting to the data which is provided by the client. See, we have explained this theoretical concept, but I want to show. See, suppose how we store the data, how the client will provide the data, how you will do the some transformation, how you can see the load the tables, and how to create some basic visuals. And if you see that practically, it becomes very easy for you, and you need to able to see how the Power BI desktop interface looks. Okay, the agenda of the today's class is to provide just to make you to understand how the Power BI desktop interface looks how Power Query interface looks, how you can load the data in, how you can connect to the data which is provided by the client. Okay, that is very important. Now, Power BI Desktop is see, once you open this if the Power BI Desktop is installed in your system, once you click on this Power BI Desktop like this, so this is the interface it will open for you. Okay, this is the interface. Now I want to open a new report. That means I want to open a blank report. Just you need to click on this blank report. Okay, blank report. See, once you open the blank, see, this is the Power BI Desktop. Once you download the Power BI Desktop, this is the interface it will look. Okay, coming, if you join this particular course, if you learn Power BI, suppose 60 hours of the classes, you will be discussing only on this tool called as Power BI Desktop. This is the general tool. Now I am saying with the help of Power BI, so think that client is storing the data in the form of Excel. For your example, how you can bring that Excel files into your Power BI Desktop? How you can bring it? See, this is the Power BI Desktop, and now I want to connect to the data. How I will connect to the data from, or how you can bring the data into Power BI Desktop? So when you look at this option called as here, this option we call it as get data. When you open this, see, that common data. What is meant by data sources? The place where the organizations will store their business data, that is called as data source. If they are storing the data in Excel, Excel is the data source. If they store the data in the SQL, SQL server is the database. Now think they are storing the data in the Excel. So click on. Now I will explain how you can connect to the Excel sheet. Click on Excel. Now see, I am storing, suppose the data is sample superstore data. Here the client has stored some online superstore related to the data. Some, if you look at like a online retail store, data is there. So I want to connect to the data. So just how you can connect to the data, just select that Excel file. Once you select that file, click on open. Okay. See, once you have open, click on open, see, it is trying to connect to the data. See, please wait, it is trying to establish. That means if that, suppose think that samples data, sample store data, it is there in some desktop. I store it in the desktop. Now I am connecting it. So whatever the data which is there, that data will be appear as a tables over here. Okay, that sample superstore data, it contains 3 tables. So I want to load this order table, people table, return table. I want to load this table into Power BI Desktop. So how I want to load, how I can load, just you need to select. Once you select any table, it will show what is the data it is there. See, this is the data, it is a preview section. That means customer has some order the product, order ID, when they have ordered the product, when they have shipped the product, how they have shipped their product, customer ID, customer name, which segment he ordered, from which country product, what is the city, what is the state, what is the postal code, the products are from which region, what is the product ID. For every product you have some product ID. What is the category of the product, which subcategory it is belonging, what is the product name, what is the sales of that particular product, how many quantity you have ordered, what is the discount for that particular product, what is the profit from product. So it is this type of information is there. And if you want to see what type of the information is there in the particular table, you can see here in the purview section. How you can load, just type. Now I want to load the people table. See, people table, it has only 2 columns, person, region. There are 5 person from which region they are there. There is another table I want to select, returns table. So it is having 2 columns, return ID, order ID. The product is returned or not, and what is the order ID. Whatever the tables that you want to load, just you need to select it. Then if you click on the load, these tables which are there in the Excel file will be loaded into your Power BI Desktop. This is how you will load the tables. So you have from here Excel you have selected. The tables have appeared. You have selected the tables. If you want to see the data, you can see the data over here. Just click on the load. So once you click on this load, just I will, yeah, I will try to load that. See, I'm clicking on. Once you click on the load, see, depending upon the size of the data, it will try to load your data. Okay, see, it is saying, see, it is taking time to load. That means the data which is there in your the Excel file. See, that Excel file I have stored in my desktop. Okay, from my desktop in the local system. So from that, if the Excel file data is loading, you can see. That means it is fetching the data, the Excel, and it is trying to load the data into Power. See, now the data is. Now you can ask me a simple question, sir. You have loaded order table, people table, returns table. How I can confirm where my data is there? Okay, you can see the data in their data section. See, this is the data section where you can see this order table, the different columns, category orders that I have shown, right? You can see people table, see column 1, column 2, returns, what are the tables? So whatever the tables that you have loaded, it will seen in this data section. This is called as data pane. In the Power BI desktop, the right hand corner, we call it as data pane. Now you are saying, sir, you are showing the table name and you are showing the column name. But I want to see what is the data present inside it, inside that particular table. So for that, you need to come over here. Just select any one table. Okay. Just you can come to table view. Okay. You can come to table and select the table, any table. I want to see the order table, right? Any column you select. See the same data that you have seen, row, order ID, order date, ship date, column date that you have seen, right? So the data, everything, the data in the form of table format, you can see the data over here. Now, what is the data there in the people table? Just click on here, click on any one of the column. See, persons and region, you have seen, right? I've seen what is the data which is there, that it is visible to you. And if you want to see the data in the returns table, click any one, you can see the data over here. Like this, you can see order table, people table, and returns table. And if you go here, data table view means this will help you to see if you have loaded some tables. If you want to see in the form of tabular format, you will click on the table view, because if you don't click on the table view, when you look at this data pane, it will show you only table name and what are the columns. But what is the data which is present inside the column? If you want to see that, you need to click on the table view. Okay, right. Now this is called as data view. See, this is when you come one step left, we have different type of visuals. This we call it as visualization pane. By using this data, by using this data, by using these visuals, you will try to create the report here, the center one here. The center area, we call it as report canvas. The center area, we call it as report canvas, because this is the area where you can build the visuals. See, orders table, suppose your client is asking, you have region, simple. So one region is there, sales is there. Your client is asking, I want to create region wise sales graph. He's asking pie chart. Then what you will do? Just he's asking pie chart, right? Just click on the pie chart. The pie chart will be there. Come. He is asking region wise sales. So select the region. Okay, the region is coming over region. He's asking, I want region wise sales. Select the sales. See, region wise sales data you will get over here. You can see this is the area, the center area where you try to create the visuals, where you try to create the report. That's why this center area we call it as report canvas. The where the data will be appear, we call it as data pane. In the Power BI desktop, where the different visuals will appear, this we call it as visualization pane. And one more thing, if you join any course, I recommend please don't watch the classes on mobile phone. It is very mandatory for a person to purchase laptop, because with the help of screen, this visuals will appear as very minute. Understand the concepts will become very hard. It is mandatory because my classes, a person from the non-technical background, if you don't have any idea, you can able to understand the concepts. Okay, because it starts from zero. But the only thing you need to practice it's well. Once after completion of the class, for that you need to install the Power BI desktop. Okay, and when you try to see it in a bigger screen, you need to install it in a bigger screen, so that when you go try to watch it in the laptop, so the transformation, when you look at the Power Query transformation, you will make some hundreds of transformation. When you look at in the bigger screen, it will become easy for you to understand the transformations. Okay, see the center area, we call it as report canvas. Okay, now again, if I want region wise sales, if a client is asking for you, suppose like segment wise sales, you want to create I want to create in some bar graph, or I need some donut chart. So I want to create a donut chart. This, see, select the donut chart. Here I want segment wise sales. Okay, if a client wants for the segment wise sales, in this order table, where is the segment? See, this is a okay, I want segment wise sales. Just click on sale. See, you will get the segment wise sales. And if you want to add a border, if I want to add the border to it, okay, segment here. This, how you can add a border to it. Select this visual. I want to format this visual, right? To format the visual, there is one option called as format. Just you need to click on the format. Okay, in the format. Here we can come to some option called as general. So in the general, there is, I want to add a border, right? That border is an effect. Just click on the effect. Once you click on effect, there is an option called as visual border. For every visual, it will be automatically, it will in the off mode. So once you click on that, see, you will get the border to that visual. Now, if you, I want to add same border to it, so don't go to the format, don't go to again. First, if you want to format any visual, you need to select that visual first. Go to format, go to general. I want to add a border right effect. Click on effect. You will get like this. Okay. Now, if you want to make this same, I want to convert into this bar chart. How you will convert? Don't go and again select the bar chart. Just Control C and Control V. Okay, you will get the visual. Now I want to convert this bar chart. Select this visual. Click on the bar chart. Automatically it will convert into a bar. Now I want to convert. Control C and Control V. Now I don't want to convert. I don't want it in this bar chart. So I want it in the clustered bar chart. So it will be converted into cluster. Okay, like this you can try to create a different type of the visuals. So I'm using the basic visuals in the today's class. My intention is, this is the center area called as where you will try to create, where you will build the report. This area is called as a report canvas. Okay, visualization pane. Now for any visual that you can put, different type of the filters will also appear. See, one more reason here is, so there is one option called as, in the visualization, there is one option called as slicer. Okay, there is an option called as slicer. Just I click on the slicer over here. This slicer. In the slicer, I will try to create one region. I will drop the field over. See, the slicer is up. Now, if I click on central, all the visuals will show the related to the central only. See, click on central. See, region is central value, central. In this all, in the segment, the central sales are how much. So if you want to see what are the values, labels are not there, right? Just you click on the format visuals and on the data labels. See, for this is the central sales with 0.25, 0.2. If I click on east, see, all it will show the east. It will show the values of east. It is east. It is all visuals will show related to this. South, all the visuals will related to show the south only. All the visuals will interact. West, see, this is west, west, and these are the sales of the west. So this is called as the central region. We call it as report canvas. Okay, and here the first one, this is called as report view, where you're able to find the report view. This is called as table view, where you can see the data in the form of tables. Third one, this is called as model view. What is meant by model view? What are the tables that you have loaded will appear over here. You have loaded orders table, people table, return table. So the tables that you have loaded will appear in this model, that is called as model view. So suppose you load the table 10 tables, you will try to establish the relationship between the tables. I told, right, the data model power pivot that you will be discussing over here. So this is model view. This is table view, where you can see the data. This is called a report view, where you can build the reports. Okay. See, here also we'll try to have some filters. So if I want to clear the filter, just you need to click on here, clear all the filters will go. Okay. Now there is an option to over here, visualization. Here we call it as filter pane, where you can apply the filters over here. Here also you can apply the filter. Suppose here I select the visual, the region filter, it is there, automatically it will show. If I click on west central, see the central visual. Here I have select the visuals and apply the filters, right? That's why only this visual will change. Now I select this visual. Here also I want to select the segment, consumer segment. Come over here, select on consumer. See, I can see the consumer segment. Now I will select this region. Here also I want to see the west region. I will click on the west. See, I am getting the west. This is the area we call it as filter pane. Data pane, where you can see the data. Visualization pane, where you have so many visuals to build it. This is called filter pane, where you can apply the filters. And the Power BI desktop, this is called as the major, we call it as menu bar, where you have different file, home, insert, different type of menu based options are there. In the down, where you can see has page view. This is called a summary page. I'm saying it as summary page. So if you want to create a new page, click on press button, new page is created. This is the first page. Like this, you can create multiple pages. If you click again, place page 2. A report may contain 10, 12, depending upon your requirement. You can add some pages. This view, we call it as page view. Okay, so this is a general introduction of your Power BI desktop. Okay, this Power BI desktop interface will be looking where you can connect to the data over here, get data from that. See, the beauty of the Power BI is you can connect to some hundreds of database. You can connect to Excel, you can connect to text file, you can connect to JSON, you can connect to folders, you can connect to SharePoint, Oracle databases, IBM databases. Okay, there are a lot of Azure, lake houses, metrics, blob storage, Azure, SharePoint list. If the data is stored in Google Analytics, Adobe, you can come to PPT, you can connect to the online web link, Spark, Hadoop, Python scripts. Okay, like this, you can connect to some hundreds of the data sources. Okay, just now we have discussed how to connect to the Excel. This is the general Power BI desktop interface will looks. Now, in the first, once you join the class, you will be discussing about Power Query, right? So, from the Power BI desktop, the first 15 hours of the classes we discussed about Power Query only. What is meant by Power Query? With the help of Power Data Modeling, I said, like we build the different data and we'll try to establish the relation. And Power Query means you will make some transformations, right? Just you click how from the Power BI desktop, how you can go to Power Query. Click on these three dots. Okay, go to transform data. Power Query is useful for making transformation, right? Click on the transform data. You will go to see Power Query editor. So this is the area. See, in the Power Query home, you have some these options. So we will go to the home options and you will try to go to each and every option, how it will be useful in transform your data. Will be discussed. Then you go to the transform tab. We'll discuss each and every options, how it is useful to transform your data. We can go to add column and we'll discuss how each option will be helpful for you. I will go to the view tab and how each option will be helpful to transform your data. That is called as that you will be discussing in the Power Query. Suppose in the home tab you have, okay, a very simple example I am doing. So in the home tab, just I am selecting order ID. I want this column and I want to delete all other column. So what I will select, remove columns. I will click on remove other columns means selected column will present, all other columns will be get deleted. See, remove other. That means only order ID is there, all columns are deleted. Okay, like that of for transformation, each and every option that will be this is how you will transform your data. So for every option that you make, one step will be recorded over here. Every transformation that you make in the Power Query, for every step will be recorded over here in the applied steps. This is called as applied steps. And for everything, it will write some code at the back end. See, one code will be writing at the back end. This we call it as mesh up language. And when you look at the Power Query editor, the major interface. So now I want to go to the one step back. How will just you click on this transform? You will go back to this. The normal. See, when you look at the Power Query interface also, these which we call it as queries, the queries are nothing but the tables. The tables that you load into Power BI desktop, we call it as queries. Queries are nothing but the table. And this pane, we call it as query pane. In the Power Query, the area where you will find the tables, we call it as query pane. In the Power Query, where we have many menu based options, so it will take a lot of time to explain you. It will take at least 15 hours. The place where you have different menu based options, with this you will transform your data. You will convert the unstructured data into structured data. So this place we call it as ribbon pane. They are calling home tab, transform tab, different menu based options are there, right? That we call it as ribbon pane or Power Query ribbon. And the next one, where you have different, for every transformation make backend, it will have some formula. This we call it as, this pane we call it as formula pane. Okay, the backend. See, you make any transformation. Suppose what is the transformation I will make? This order ID it is there. Okay, order ID it is there. I go to the transform tab. What I will do is I will go to the date column. Okay, I will click on year. See this year. My requirement is I want to extract only year from it, 2015, 2014. I will select from. See, I got year. So extracted year it is created, right? One step. Whatever transformation you make, one step it will be reacted. And here it will write some formula. So order date, it has extracted some year from it. So this pane we call it as formula pane. This pane we call it as formula. For every transformation you make, here's the step will be recorded over here. This in the Power Query, this pane we call it as query settings pane. See, query settings pane. And when you click on the table, people or anything, suppose I click on the table, the results, the data which is there in over here will be displayed here. So this pane, we center pane, we call it as results pane or display pane. Results pane, or they are calling it as, it will show the data present in the table. They call it as data pane or results pane. So if you click on returns table, The results are present in the tables, it will displays here. The data present in the table, written table display. This is called as the center pane. We call it as data pane or results pane. If I click on order table, what are the columns which are there in that? What is the data present in that table? It will represent. The center, we call it as data pane. So what is the interface of Power Query Editor? Where you will find some menu based options. We call it as Power Query ribbon, or simply we call it as Power Query ribbon, where that some tables or queries as query pane. This way the formula which is present over here, the pane we call it as formula pane. In the center, what is the data which is present in the table will be displayed. This we call it as results pane or table pane. And whatever the transformation that you make, for every transformation, it is recording that step over here. This pane we call it as query setting pane. And the upper one we call it as Power Query. So for everyone, if you are going to study a tool, first you need to understand the interface of that particular tool. It's not like that I am downloading the Power BI desktop and without explaining the interface, if I make on making the transformation, that will not make any sense. Suppose if you open the Power BI desktop from over here, see now from you are in the Power Query, right? If you make any transformation, just click on close and apply. So your transformation will be saved. You will go to Power BI desktop. The first one where we seen right, the Power BI desktop. You will be going to the Power BI desktop. This is the Power BI desktop in the report. Okay, right. So if you want to see, I have the same in the slide. Where if you want to see the interface of this particular see this Power BI desktop interface, we have seen right the first one. Once you load the tables, this is the Power BI desktop. Once you install, your Power BI desktop interface will be looking like this. If you load any data, we have load orders table, people table, returns table, right? Here, this view, what is called this pane, we call it as data view, or we can call it as data pane. Whatever the data you connected, it will be displayed here. It is data pane. And you will find some in the Power BI desktop file, menu, insert, model view. This is there, right? This we call it as menu bar. Here, the first table we call it as this one, right? It is called report view. The center, wherever you will try to how we have created the visual. By using the data, by using this table, in the center you have created some visuals, right? That is called report view. If you want to see the data in the table, you can click on this table, right? That is called as table view. If you have loaded the data, if you want to see what are the different types of tables are loaded, that we call it as this is model view. And whatever the filters which are there, you can see you can apply the filters over here. That pane we call it as filter pane. And the down one we can see it called this. We have different visuals which are there in the Power BI desktop. With the help of the data provided by the client, with the help of the visuals in the Power BI, we'll try to create the visuals, right? This pane we call it as visualization pane. This is data pane. This is menu bar. This is report view. This is table view. This is we call it as model view. Here we can apply the filters, filter pane. See, we have page view, page one. If you click on plus, another page is created. This we call it as page view. So this is the Power BI desktop interface generally. Okay, in the next, before that we have discussed about screen has yeah, next we have discussed about Power Query interface also, right? How to open the Power Query. See, we have different menu based options are there. Those menu based options where we call it as Power Query ribbon. Okay. Here we have whatever the transformation, see, whatever the tables that we have loaded, the tables we are calling it as queries, right? So this pane we call it as query pane. Okay, this is called query pane. And whatever the transformation that you have made any transformation, for the transformation backend, it will write the formula I have said. This we call it as formula pane. For every steps that you make the transformation, this we call it as query settings pane. Okay, the transformation query. This is called query settings actually. This is query pane. This whatever the transformation that you make, it will record that steps here. We call it as query setting pane. The center one we call this is called as formula pane, and this one we call it as power query repair. So these are the generally the interface will be looking over, okay, right? The only thing is this we have discussed about in the previous class, because why there is a demand for this Power BI, because the data is generating very at a high speed. Okay. The thing is everything the digitalization on online, like now most of our work lifestyle, like most of the hourly spending on the internet is increasing. That's why the generation of the data is becoming more. That's why as the data is growing at a very rapid speed, Power BI is a tool which will connect with this data and will create the visuals. Then there is a demand for a tool which will connect to that particular data and provide the data in the form of some meaningful visuals. With that, the client can understand this business process very easily, and so that he can take some business decision. This also we have discussed, because why the data is increasing, the only thing is due to the rapid penetration of the social media. Smartphone is becoming the rise of when the smartphones came into the picture, and in the every phone you do have the different type of the mobile apps, and social media also is increasing at rapid pace. That's why at the back end it is generating lot of data. Okay, now the data is an asset. Organization, they have, there is a lot of data flooded in the market, but they are looking at a tool. They are looking for a tool which will connect to this data, and they will try to create some meaningful visuals for their business. That's why the Power BI is a tool is fulfilling those requirements. That's why the Power BI is getting the huge demand in the market. That is the only thing. Okay, what is business intelligence? This we have discussed in the previous classes. Okay, coming to the week batches, like so this is the interface, like I've explained you, because why I have taken some time. Uh, right. And one more thing, like the reason being, uh, one more thing, like why I have explained this. This second in the previous way, like Uma Shankar Sal will also provide you the first recording. We have conducted the session in the two ways. Okay, in the two different ways. The first in the first session we have covered about the background of Power BI, like how the data is growing, why is there is a Power BI demand for the market. Once you join as a Power BI developer, what are the different type of opportunities there for the Power BI developers. Okay, and when you are coming from the pharma background, what are the companies that they are hiring for the Power BI developers, and what are the different type of the designation that you can apply for the Power BI developer. And in the second this phase, like have tried to give some practical orientation session, how to install Power BI desktop. Okay, how to understand what is Power Query, what is Power Pivot, what is Power View, and how to connect to the data, and how to make some basic transformation. Okay, and the batch is going to like sir has rolled the Google Forms to you, and I request everyone try to fill that Google Forms, and I will share you the batch tomorrow. We are starting the registration. Okay, we are starting the registration from tomorrow, and the regular classes will be commencing from Tuesday. From the Tuesday, we are commencing the classes. And actually, so what are the courses that we are covering over here in this particular course? If I open the notepad, like we are conducting three courses that we are covering. The first one, Power BI. This is a package of data analyst program. Data analyst program. So we'll be covering Power BI plus advanced Excel. That means basic and advanced. Basic and simply I'm using advanced Excel, but we'll cover advanced Excel with AI also. Advanced Excel plus SQL. SQL will be covering basic plus advanced. Okay, so entire data analyst program that we are giving. So Power BI plus advanced Excel plus SQL, basic and advanced. Advanced Excel plus SQL, basic SQL plus advanced Excel. So coming to the fee structure, like some people, if you are solely interested to learn the Power BI, just Power BI for it will be 12K. And if you want to learn advanced Excel, basic advanced Excel with AI, so it comes under 6K. And SQL, it is 5K. So those you enroll total courses, like some may have interested, like some basic, like they want to Power BI. If you want to go to the only Power BI, you can take these courses. And if you learn want to advanced Excel, you can opt for this. And if you learned for the SQL, you can opt for this. But majority that we have in the, most of the people are liking to go for the data analyst role, where they want to learn Power BI, Advanced Excel plus SQL as a combo course. Because for the data analyst position, 90% that will be hiring for the data analyst role, they are demand the skill of Power BI, Advanced Excel and SQL. So if you enroll for this, and the total, it will be coming for 20K. Okay, where you can get the Power BI, Advanced Excel and SQL. And coming to the batch timings, we have weekday plus weekend. So this batch timing accordingly, what is the course of structure, like what is the course structure, and how you will complete the, what is the duration of the courses. At the end of this session, I will share it to you. So you can, based upon your timings, that you can go and enroll your course. Okay, tomorrow we are starting the registration, and we'll provide the digital certificate, and there is a phone number, like we can, you can reach to the EsPharma. So I will sharing the batch timing to the Uma Shankar star soon after this after this presentation. So based upon your timings, you can either you can enroll for the weekday batches or weekend batches. So that those timings and everything I will be sharing to the EsPharma. So kindly coordinate with them and try to attend the classes from Tuesday itself. Tomorrow will be uh, starting the registration program from tomorrow, and from Tuesday we'll be starting the batch, and we'll start with Power BI. We'll move to the Advanced Excel, and then we start with the SQL. Okay, yeah, I'm done from my side. And if you have any question, then please go with. Now the dais is open for you. If you have any question, that you can ask me, so that I can answer you. Any questions? Like anybody having any doubts, that please feel to ask your question. Yeah, one more questions, like somebody like Hari, they have here saying, like most of the futures it is saying to the Excel, and how it is different from the, please admit. So is my voice is audible? Is it not audible for everyone? I am audible, right? Audible. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The first question, like somebody is asking, like whatever the features that you have explained, it is there in the Excel. Then what is the reason to learn the Power BI? Okay. So the reason being, with the Excel, that you can see where you can perform the task which is taking a lot of time. Sometimes in the Excel we cannot do the automation. If you want to do it in the Excel, sometimes you need to use that. You try to build. some 10 or 12 pages in the when you do some visuals in Excel. But in case of the Power BI, within one page of the report, you can make some 20 to 30 visuals where you can make with the help of Power BI. Okay, 98% of the tasks which will take very manual time, and in the Excel also you cannot connect to the big data. Suppose 10 lakhs, if your data size is very high, the Excel cannot support the data. If the data size file is very high, sometimes if the data source is SQL or Oracle databases, Excel cannot support. Okay, that's why we can go for the Power BI, and the type of the advanced visual which is there over here in the Power BI, such type of advanced features are not there, and advanced visuals are not there in the Excel. So that is the reason for. And one more thing, Power Platform is also necessary for the data analyst role. Okay, we are in a way like I'm a platform Power Platform developer where I'm skilled in Power BI plus Power Apps plus Power Automate. But if your role is data analyst, it is not mandatory for a person to have Power Apps and Power Automate knowledge, Power BI itself. Because when you take a course as a Power Platform developer means data analyst is there, different Power Platform is different. Power Platform developer means Power BI plus Power Apps plus Power Automate plus some SharePoint basics. Okay, it will comes under this Power BI, Power Platform developer. But data analyst role is different, where we have advanced Excel. If you want to upskill in this data analyst role, you can add some Python and you can add Azure to it, and it will becomes very uh, it will be very good for you in order to survive in more years in this particular market. Okay, so based upon like qualification, what is the minimum qualification they are asking? At least you should have a degree. Okay, it can you have a degree for using this. At least a degree, minimum degree qualification should be there to join as a Power BI developer. Okay, and one more thing is, sir, is it necessary to learn the SQL? Because now most of the Power BI developers, because as this is a easy tool, like we have the Power BI developer, a lot of Power BI developers in the market. Now the company is asking, is preferring. Suppose I'm interviewing for a few persons. The person is having the knowledge on Power BI and also is having the knowledge on SQL. So definitely I will try to hire the person who's having both SQL knowledge and Power BI. Okay. And it is not like you need to have a knowledge of SQL developer. What is the knowledge which is required for the SQL knowledge, which is required for Power BI developer? If you learn that much, it will become good for you. How to write the queries, how to do the validation at backend queries. So then that will be more than enough for you. So, but Excel knowledge is mandatory for person. What is a mandatory? Because it is like a basement. Okay, even most of the organizations we have the knowledge on Excel also. They are great. You are providing the they are providing the opportunities, but it is better you can you are even compared to Excel, you have the good visualization tools like Power BI tablet is there in the market. If you add the tool, that skill set to your qualification, then it will becomes very easy. Then you can apply for more number of companies. And what is a package I can expect for like a Power BI developer? Like if you have a 2 plus or 2 or 3 plus years of experience, like our freshers, so at least a Power BI developers, it will be range upon your previous package. You have the Power BI developer right from 6, even uh, companies are providing for 8 plus. They have for 30 to 35 lakhs of the person is also there. Okay, it depends upon your previous, but at least 2 plus or 3 plus year experienced person, they are holding the package up to 10 to 12 lakhs. Okay, the only advantage here is once you shifted the companies, you can ask for the 100% hike as well, depending upon your performance. Okay, suppose you have 3 years of 4 years of experience. Suppose you have some 12 lakhs, like you can ask for 18 or 19. That the only advantage is once you are shifting to the companies, you can ask for the 100% hike as well. The most of the thing, and one thing I can assure is like the growth will be good when compared to others. Suppose if you are in PV or if you are in the medical coding. Suppose I have interacted with the many person who are in the medical coding or pharmacovigilance. Even they are having the 9 plus or 8 plus of year experience. So year on year, that package is not going to increase. That package remain the stagnant. So that type of thing will be not there when you enroll for the data analyst. Once you shift the company or once you get the good in terms of the hike, that will be very fast when compared to other PV and medical coding course. And one more thing, suppose if you are in, you have an experience, suppose you have a PV background person, you have some 10 years or 5 or 6 years of experience, and I say don't apply as a freshers. Like try to use your experience that you can say like previous if you're working a PBR, if you want to now transform your career into the Power BI. Just think like at least last 3 years that you have worked as a Power BI developer. And through internal opportunity, I got an opportunity to work as a Power BI developer and try to learn the course of the Power BI and try to give the interview. Okay. So if you are working as you have already 5 or 6 years of experience in somewhere, and again don't learn the Power BI and don't start as a fresher. Okay, just try to use your previous experience that you have worked in the Power BI. Try to enroll the course and learn as at least one confidence I can give once you complete the course. You will get an idea like 4 plus or 5 plus of experience person how much the knowledge they have. That type of the confidence you will get after completing this particular course. And any questions? Yeah, great. Yeah, one more thing. Yeah, this is a one of question. Will AI ML create a risk to current roles once we complete this course? Okay, so AI impact will be there. Like as a Power BI developers, when you look, AI impact will be there not only in this. It may be there in any type of all type of the courses that you will the impact. But my suggestion is apart from this while learning and we'll try to uh, I will also include the concepts of the AI to it, how by using the AI how you can create a like how you write the DAX function by using the AI. Because the only thing is like what made my work style different from others is like if within the same team without using AI, like while writing the DAX queries, so you can write some lengthy of code which is of 30 or 40 or 60 lines within the fraction of second that you can learn. I'm saying learn the AI, how to use by using the AI, how you can integrate the work in the Power BI that we will be covering our coaching concept itself. Okay. We are not taking AI ML as a risk to our Power BI developer. How by using learning those concepts and how we can differentiate ourselves from other Power BI developers, it is the part of our course curriculum. The thing is, we are learning how each and AI, with the help of AI, we will first learn manually, and with help of AI, how you can able to debug your code and how you can write some length of code within the fraction. Sometimes a work which can be done in some 10 or 20 days, it can be completed within hours. Provided that if you learn the AI how to write that particular code and how to give the proper prompting and those prompt engineering and how to give the prompt and how to write the codes, it will be covered in our course itself. And we'll take that AI is not as a risk, we'll take it as an opportunity and we'll move forward. Yeah. Yeah, 12 years of experience in analytical R&D. Is it possible to switch now? Yeah, if you have some Bhikshapati, if you have had 12 years of experience in analytical R&D or something, if you want to switch your career, the only thing is for a person you are having already, you have more than 4 years of experience. At least learn the course, and at least if you are not satisfied, you are with the current role, and it is you have made up your mind that you want to shift to the Power BI. At least last 3 years, try to keep your experience that you have worked as a Power BI, you are into the data side, then you try to shift your career. Okay, that is the only thing, because you have already 12 years of experience, and if you learn as a Power BI developer, and if you come as a freshers, and first of all, I will not recommend that person, because we are learning this course, we are shifting your career for a good package. Okay, at least you need to keep your experience. Like suppose you have 12 years of experience, at least to keep 4 plus or 4 years of experience that you worked as a Power BI developer, then you can transform. Right. Okay, so you can contact to the Uma Shankar sir for the course durations, and we are going to start the batch from Tuesday, and tomorrow we are enrolling the admissions from tomorrow. Okay, so the course timing, duration of the courses, and fee particulars have already explained to you, and everything will be provided, and you can contact with the admin team regarding the batch timings. I will finalize the batch timings by today, and I will share the details to the admin team. And if I try to, and if you want to enroll this particular course, and you can speak to the admin team, and you can try to enroll this. Okay, and thank you. Thanks for your time.